especially like through my development stage, freshman all the way to senior year. I just wish I would have been on that side of town maybe and then got to connect with you guys. I definitely felt like it would have
Hello, good evening, everyone. You know what that sound means? It's time to go live with the One-Eyed Scout and Mr. Philip Townsend. Phil, why don't you come on in, my trusty sidekick?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, man, it's nothing but a beautiful day. I tell you what, man, live period, one of my favorite times. And this year, I did a little different the last two sessions. I stayed at home and watched live stream, and so it's been pretty cool because I've been able to catch some of the Puma circuit, some of the EYBL circuit, some of the Adidas circuit, some of the Under Armour circuit. So it's been a cool thing. And then Gasso and this weekend I'm gonna catch some of Alamo City hoops as well. But where are you at, man?
Hey, I'm in Vegas chilling at my favorite spot, the Hotel Elara. It's
Oh,
just amazing service, amazing rooms. I love it here.
well, I want to give a shout out to our platform partner. TAAN TV. We're building something special with these grassroots athletes and families. Always a favorite barbecue joint is Smoky Mo's. And if you're
Yes.
watching this on your lunch break, go ahead and get that chopped brisket plate with the jalapeno cream corn.
Yeah, Kev, but don't forget about the brunch spot. But before we go there, Kev, let me tell you, you got a loaded show tonight. Kev is going to bring it to you. I'm telling you. Got key questions from the players and the parents. And yes, of course, there's going to be plenty of coaches. And don't forget, we're talking live stream commitment. So um, just get ready for a big show. But Kev, you mentioned about you embracing and checking out some things this weekend. I'm waiting for August 2nd. You know why I'm waiting for August 2nd?
I know why. The combine,
Yes, sir.
28s and 29s, and man, we're getting a great response. We sent out some invitations. It's been up there for people to see, and we'll get to it a little bit later on. But yeah, man, talking about the coaching commitments,
Yeah.
it's been a great thing because it's something new in the sense that it hadn't been done. I won't say it's never been done before, but it hasn't been done as a routine. And so I've called up some friends, some Division II friends, Division I friends, junior college friends, and made sure, hey, we're going to be live streaming on August 16th for the juniors and seniors. But and talking with Vance, it's been a great situation because we're gonna we're gonna have the live stream product for the freshmen and sophomores as well. So they'll be able to parents, grandparents, whatever, be able to check it out. So
All
it's
right.
kind of a big deal, man. I feel like,
Hey, well, it sounds big, Kev, and I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, you know, Phil, I've been in three gyms this past week, and let me tell it to you straight. What's jumping out right now is that players just aren't understanding about exposure, man. You,
Well,
you know what
you
the
know, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, Kev, you know what that is. Right now, it's so easy to post a clip to social media, and
Yeah.
they just don't look at it from the standpoint of that real time, presence, right? But
Hmm.
the thing is about that, what's missing, Kev, is in that real time presence, coaches, scouts, they get a chance to see how you are in the moment the whole time you're there. And you have to be on point. And that's the whole thing is that looking at, again, how you talk, with your teammates, how you're responding possibly to some positive, would you say positive input from a coach or
Hmm.
some of your teammates. That's real live presence experience that people get to see. You can't get that, and a coach can't glean from that. A scout can't glean from that on a clipping that you post to the internet. So they've just got to understand that you've got to be real and in the present moment and be there. Yeah, the clip isn't. It's look. It's nice for a show, but
Hmm.
it's not good for the goal.
Yeah, that kind of leads. When we talk about this, the clips and the highlight player and who has more impact on a game, and highlight dudes, they're not worried about missed shots. They're not worried about a turnover because they're just gonna come back down right behind it and try to get in front of that videographer again.
Right.
Whereas you could I know the algorithm, and you can have a guy that makes 20 points and 4 rebounds, and 2 turnovers, and that's a pretty good game in a lot of people's eyes. But you get that player that scores about 10 to 12 points, 7 to 8 rebounds, 7, 5, 6, 7 assists, and the impact on the game is so much more impactful than someone that just gets the 20 points and a couple of rebounds. And so that's what kids fail to understand. That's what parents fail to understand. I sit back and I know I sit in the stands a lot of times, and it's becoming more difficult because parents now recognize me, but you can hear them complain about playing time because their kid is scoring well, but they're not stopping the guy. They're not getting
Right.
rebounds. They're not shutting down possessions. And Phil, you've been around the game for a good while, but why do you think body language matters more than people want to give credit to?
Well, because see, body language is a byproduct of your mindset, right?
Hmm.
And so it can be that, hey, look, if you're down in the dump, now maybe you don't get back in transition, right? In
Hmm.
transition defense and all, because you're still reacting from the fact that somebody didn't pass you the ball on the offensive end, right? And so uh, and plus it sends a message to the coaches or the scouts that, hey, look, this guy can be a me player, or it can just be that they see that you don't seem to have that intestinal no fortitude to just suck it up, short memory, get back in on the next play and do what you need to do. It's just a lingering thing with you, and you're just not up to being ready to get down with the next play.
You know, uh, One thing that I always look at, and sometimes people say that when a kid defends off the ball, that it gets overlooked. Well, I tell you what, from my keen eye, it does not. I can watch, and you watch kids on the backside all the time, and they don't have any idea where their man is. They're turning their body totally to the opposite sideline
Yeah.
to kind of follow the play. And I tell you what, man, people think it goes unseen, but I promise you it doesn't. You think about the great defensive teams. We think of here in Texas, we think of U of H with Coach Sampson. There ain't no way that Coach Sampson ain't seeing that. And you just go down the list, because everybody, not everybody, a lot of people want to talk offense. And I've told you before, man, if the first clip that you see that you send me to watch is a defensive clip, I'm probably going to watch it all the way through. But one thing that's another turn off when we're talking about video clips, nobody wants to watch you shoot a free throw. You're supposed to make that. Don't put that in there. But I, whenever we sit back and think about it, you know, Chris Paul talks about it when he talks about communicating on the floor. And
Yeah.
how do you, what do you, what's your take on that?
Oh,
Why is that so important?
look, sometimes some people uh, criticize maybe that one person that's
Hmm.
telling everybody, "Hey, watch this, watch him. I know this. He's going to do that step up and fake you and go for a backdoor cut, right?" And
Hmm.
you know, if you aren't open to
Hmm.
listening to what somebody else may say, then you're only um, hurting yourself, right?
Hmm.
Because it's not a matter of thinking this person is smarter or knows more basketball to you. They're just recognizing the situation. Maybe they've been a little bit more studious of the game than you. One thing, look, Kev, one thing that I like is when someone is mentioning stuff that happened, or maybe they might think, even if it's just, hey, you know, step step to the left or to the right so you don't allow your man to get a backdoor cut on you, or
Hmm.
something. If somebody else might be recognizing that your stance is,
Yeah.
is is not appropriate for what could happen on that play. So yeah, communication on the floor, having that floor general, or just you. Anybody communicating, giving some information out is always a good thing.
Before we move to the next segment, Phil, I, the eye test is always important, but just as a table setter, and I say that in the sense of you got a 6'2" guard, right? You're gonna automatically start looking at 6'2" point guard, 6'3" point guard, right? But you'll often find, man, that 6 foot or that 6'1" guy that's just a little bit doesn't fit the eye test just as much, but he busts his ass and in turn busts somebody else's rear end. You know, the eye test doesn't really mean the same thing in 2025 because for the simple fact that the game has evolved into allowing different body types to excel. You go back to whenever we were, I don't know about you, but when I first started really studying basketball, there was a lot of Mark Aguirre, uh, Willis Reed, and all those guys had the same body types, even all the way through up with Magic Johnson whenever he started retiring. You go through Shaq's point, right? And now they're playing positionless basketball. So the body types are all different, you know. But that's just
Evolution,
yeah.
evolution of the game.
Yeah. You know, we'll go ahead and ask the producer to move some things around. But Phil, we're gonna start talking about, the combines and I'm excited and we'll kind of flip flop this, but I'm excited about the combines and why they matter. But we went to probably upwards of 50 games last year, and there were numerous times where people had said, "Man, I wish you'd come to our game. I hope you come to our game."
Hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, we chased dudes all summer, and they we kind of got our board. Well, this year, you just said the word evolution, but we're evolving as well. And so we're gonna hold these combines, and they're open. They're $50 a piece, but that's 66% less than any other thing that I found within the city.
Yeah.
But for all those people that, you know, not all those people, but people that wanted the opportunity to get in front of the One Eye Scout, well, here you go. We got August 2nd with the younger ones. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, Kev, that leads into my point is, why are you doing this combine now? right? I can understand, like you mentioned earlier, it's harder for you to go places now because people
Hmm.
starting to recognize you and all. But it just comes to a why now and why does it matter, so to speak.
Well, for me, there's two reasons. One, um, I don't, I don't evaluate kids in the eighth grade. I just don't. There's so many things that go into body changes, height, weight, puberty. Uh,
Right,
that normally I wait to the in ninth grade, but man, this year uh, has been a really good year for the class of '29. I've seen rankings. I've seen, but more than just rankings, I've seen the kids play uh, at some of these tournaments. I've started to walk over to the 15U to 14U opportunities, and so
right,
that was important because some of these guys, I know three guys right now that are probably going to start as a freshman. Not that they're going to start beginning of the season. They're going to be starters as a freshman. And you go back to last year, right? You had Bryson Bell at Clemens. You had Jamari Bowen at Judson. You had Gavin Peck at Bernie Champion. And there may be others in there, but those are the three that stand out to me. And I decided last year that I wanted to do something different because I didn't want to be blindsided again. And then the other piece, why right now, man, is just what we talked about with having the coaches committed to do this. Because a lot of these coaches that are getting on, they're from up north. They're from Wisconsin, the Minnesotas, the North Dakotas, the Montanas, the
yeah,
Wyomings, right?
sure,
And so they don't have the recruiting budgets to come down. So we've used this strategy in the past, but it was just it was just clips. And so they get on here and they start asking, about this guy, and we'll probably get text messages and everything during the event itself, because we've been at games where coaches have texted us at a high school game and said, how did so and so respond to be taken out of the game right then because the camera didn't go over there, you know. But
yeah,
so that's why now, man, because I just feel a sense of urgency because what happens, everybody, not everybody, but people wait till the end of the year to do these senior showcases, right?
right.
Well, though by that time everybody's stressed out trying to get somewhere, get something, and kids aren't staying locked in because they're accepting the crab in the bucket where people are trying to hold other people back, and it's interesting to me, Phil.
Hmm.
What's very interesting is the response that we've gotten. There's been quite a few from in the city, but there's a lot. I say a lot. There's quite a few from Killeen, from Austin, from all these different areas. And so I just want our San Antonio kids to get signed up so that we're not providing something so much for other people. Go
Right.
ahead.
No, I just want to say, and I'm glad you put that last line in there, Kev, because what people should know and gather from all of this is that you're really trying to do this for the San Antonio kids
Hmm.
to have the ability because that's where you want to shine the spotlight is on San Antonio basketball. And I got to tell you, I think the price point that you have of $50 that that's amazing that you're willing to put on something like this, a showcase like this, and it's literally affordable to most anyone who wants to join. But if I could ask you a couple of questions, Kev, just to get into this, is what's the you know what's the most important drills that players should master before attending this combine, and how is the pre-selection going? How are you selecting participants for this?
Well, I'll answer the last question first.
Okay.
All right. The selection process is going like this. I went through a list of people that had reached out throughout the course of the season last year
Right.
that were at schools where their teams weren't in the playoff race. And I'm not about always watching the front runners. We've always just go watch matchups. So that was my first thing, because we're talking about being the underserved, the unseen. So
Right.
that was number one. Number two is I I look at not the number one player, maybe the number two player on like an AAU team, because I'll put it like this. So I'm not trying to put specific names on stuff. But we'll say player A, he's dominant with his team, and we'll call him
Right.
Anthony. But Anthony's going to have all these different looks. And so I want Anthony to come, but I'm not really worried about Anthony coming. He's going to come if he wants to come.
Right.
But I want that Billy or Charles on that team to come because a lot of times, you got guys that are getting overlooked. And I'll give you a prime example. And I love Sean Mondragon, and he knows it. But when he plays with his high school team, Billy White has offers everywhere, 6'7" guard. Well, Billy White is overshadowing Sean, right?
Right.
And so that's just reality. You can get mad about it or you can just figure a way to work around it. And so this is one of my ways of working around it. Um, that's my way of working around it because I want him to get seen, and so a lot of the number two, number three players would be will be one of those. And if it's a team that doesn't have their number one guy,
Yes.
may not have the opportunities, then yeah, I'm gonna go after number one. And
Okay.
so
Awesome.
yeah, and it's not perfect, but it's the way that we did it, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like the fact, really, man, with the live stream,
Yeah.
I like that it puts kids accountable for
Sure.
their body language. I like that it puts them accountable for, okay, you can say, I, Billy Bob thinks he's better than everyone else, right? Well, guess what? That live stream, it ain't a lie, and so it puts that out there, and so when we're talking about what's the best preparation, and I don't think there is. I mean, you got to be solid. If you're in high school now and you're planning to try to be a college athlete, man, you need to be pretty sound already, or working with someone to get you very sound. And so, the time to prep for these things isn't July 28th. You know, and there's a reason why we chose it to be so close to the end of the season, right? Because people don't have an opportunity to get out of shape. So
Right.
that's why we're bringing in the young ones first, right? The older ones have more to lose, or more to gain, right? So it's more
Right.
important for them to stay in shape, and they're going to be back with their high school teams for a couple of weeks already, so they should be getting, that work in. And so that's kind of how it's been going. And then,
Yeah.
the reps, they're going to be controlled reps. They're going to be competitive drills, but they're not going to be one-on-one type of drills. And so that's the big thing, because we know, all right, so I know the trainers that are going to be there for this one, and one of them is JC, and JC is going to do exercises, drills that are going to take the legs away from guys, and he's going to do that very very simple drills. It's nothing outrageous. And then whenever you start shooting, it's going to be muscle memory. So that's a real big difference, because there's no way to hide. You can either shoot or you can't. And to be
Right.
honest with you, when I'm talking to, and I'm not trying to sound big dogs, but when I'm talking with some NBA guys, you know, they comment on how much the lack of shooting in college basketball, and so it makes you sit back and wonder if the elites are saying that the caliber of shooting is falling off, then why is every trainer in the world doing cone drills and ball handling drills? We don't went from shooting to sauce preparation, you know, and then we go up there and we watch Wisconsin playmakers, Iowa battlers, in those Midwest states. Well, guess what? They still shooting the ball, you know. So that's just my 2 cents from the gallery. But
Yeah.
and like we was talking off air, man, coaches are asking for footage of this because one, it gives them a chance to watch an area that they normally wouldn't see regionally in the country. And two, you get to see some of the conditioning of players, because it's going to be 3 hours, and so there's only 26 slots per session. I didn't want 40 or 50 people per session because I don't think it's fair to the family. I don't think it's
Mhm.
fair to the player that you don't get enough reps, and that's another reason, going back to putting it forward, that we care more about the kids and would take less numbers. And you know who I got that from? Coach Meyer at St. Mary's. You know, he's stingy about when he says it's capped and people are texting me, "Hey, get me in." I'm like, hell no, I ain't getting fussed at, man. Because they want a set number so the kids get a lot of reps in.
Right.
And so that I like that, man. And so I kind of took a little bit of his philosophy, um, and um, I'm just
Got a que-
excited. Yeah, go ahead.
I got
I'll
a
just
question
keep
for you,
talking.
Cat.
All right.
No. You got your combine coming and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and not look like you mentioned in talking about how you don't want a bunch of fields coming. You can take, you're looking for the advances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, you don't need to. You don't need. You got a player coming in that doesn't have the height, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what's your advice to that guy that doesn't necessarily have that height tag, but he gets there in your combine and he kills it.
Man, see, that's what it's for. Because you know what? That's when you start seeing a separator. Um, right there, we talk about the eye test versus reality, right? And
Yeah,
so you'll find dudes that are coming there and they'll shoot the cover off the ball. They'll be as loud as you can be, both in your play and in your voice, and things will be okay. Because you know, I believe, I believe, whenever you start looking around about playing, right, and across the country, there's places to play if you're willing to travel to get there. So a player has to decide if he really wants to play. And so with these combines, NAIA schools,
right,
Division 3 schools, Division
right.
2 schools, there's an opportunity. And I'm not being corny, but there's opportunity all over. Um, it's just, are you going to be committed throughout the process? And that's where I wanted to move the senior showcase type stuff to the beginning of the year so that coaches can go ahead and kind of piece out guys that they may want to circle back to, you know. So, but let's just keep moving forward, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you're moving forward, Captain. But what's going to make this combine stand out? Any differently from a workout?
well, the difference is going to be that standard combines, you you work out a little bit, you do some workouts, and then you usually scrimmage, right?
Right.
And the misnomer is if all you're doing is drills and different situational drills, people think it's a money grab. Okay. Because in their mind, it should all be up and down, which is, in my opinion, can't be further from the truth because you've got experienced trainers, experienced one-eye scout that knows the different things that coaches, college coaches are looking for. So we're going to be putting guys in that position through the different drills. They want to see ball handling. So there's going to be
Right.
different levels of ball handling. There's going to be jump shots, then there's going to be counters to that jump shot. And so you're going to have the opportunity to demonstrate what you can do, and you're not going to have the ability to go high because, again, remember we talked about we don't want 50 kids in the gym, we wanted 26. You know, and I don't know if we chose 26 because that's the graduating year, but that was just the number that we put together, and that's what's going to be different. You know, because we're gonna with 26 we're split up, right?
Right.
One to go to disco and one go to disco. So now you got 13. So even if you're doing partner drills, you only got, 6 pairs.
Right.
And if you do stuff on different parts of the floor, then there's a lot of reps going on. And so there's a lot of opportunity to show what you have, and there's a lot of opportunity to show where you need to work on. And remember, for all these guys, this isn't the end product, right? Because this is where you're at. You're going to be able to go back and look at it, the combine, with the live stream, um, and you're going to be able to look at it and see, man, this is what I need to work on. Now I know what that looks like, right? Because come Christmas time, I don't know, early spring, we may do this again and
Sure.
give you another time to go out and show what you can do. Because I tell you, Phil, these mm, people pay these recruiting services a lot of money
A lot of money.
and don't get a lot of value. I
Right.
mean, you can say what you want to say, it you're not getting the same value, And so, one of the things with the price point was this: for so long, we've been doing things very minimal cost, if cost at all, and just in life in general, the average person doesn't respect that for some reason, right? And so I have parents where I've talked to 3 or 4 times. They ask my opinion, spend 30, 45 minutes on the phone, and then they go and do the exact opposite and get the reaction or the situation that I told them they were going to end up in, but they were paying that other person. So therefore, it must mean more.
Right.
So that's where the $50 buy-in piece is. Um, I'm gonna give you value. It's gonna be great value, and so you're gonna keep coming back, and we're gonna keep giving great value. I don't know how I got off on that one, but
Uh, no, but Kev, I know you probably want to put up a flyer, but before you do, let me give a shout out to the wonderful network that we're on. That's TAAN TV, the African American Network, where you have a local feel with a global reach. And the proprietor, Laura, and then we have the COO, Vance, giving us the opportunity to put out this wonderful show, The One-Eyed Scout, on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach.
yes, sir. Um, well, when that flyer pops up, we'll get back to it. But so let's just press forward, and we're gonna talk about,
Well, looks like the flyer's there.
yay. You know what? So all you got to do is pull out your little phone and scan that QR code, and that'll take you right to the Google form, and you can sign your player up. You can get them registered. There's two. You see the two different dates, the two different sessions based off of the graduating year, and so man, it's like I said, we've gotten a great response. Uh, I just would like really to get a few some more San Antonio guys because it's kind of like uh, my friend at Quality Academy Prep, Mr. Anwar King. You know, his goal was with his prep school was San Antonio, San Antonio, San Antonio, and people were so conditioned into following certain movements that it's taken them a while to break into. And so with the following that we have, and we're blessed to have the wonderful families and players that follow us, is very loyal. And so for those, it's great, and I'm sure other people have different loyalties because people in San Antonio have been here a long time. I'm not from here, so we've always talked about I'm not affiliated with people, and I'm glad for that. And so I just want other people to give the chance to to seize the moment, I guess. You know, so it's going to be a great time, great value, and I hope everyone comes out. And parents are going to be invited. I know there's other evaluators that are coming in. Um, I know Super Sports Media, uh, Tally, Eric Tally told me he's coming down. I know there's a couple of writers from Austin and one from Houston that have said that they're planning on it. They're not committing to it, but so it's going to be a good time, man. And people, everybody's got their own different networks of coaches, and
Right.
so guys are going to get a chance to be in front of different networks, you know. So and so we're going to move on, Mr. Vance,
Yeah.
and
Well, Kev,
yeah.
if I could just say, that if you can't make it to the gym, TAAN is going to be the official site for the live
Oh,
streaming of the combines. So if you're a coach, a player, anybody, just grab that clipboard, have a strong Wi-Fi, and get ready to watch some great action.
strong Wi-Fi get you every time. Phil, I got I got hit with 5 texts yesterday from coaches asking the same thing. What does he do? What does he do? Because a lot of times what players tweet out isn't what they do. And that goes
Right.
back to um, we're talking about eye tests, we're talking about people that are going after clips, and why don't you break that down what that really means?
Hey, Kev, look, the coaches aren't just scouting and looking to see if you're a hooper. They're looking
Mm-hmm.
at you at your habits that you have, and of course, again, getting back to one of those bad habits is bad body language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting in to see if you're uh, again, we talked about it, a communicator on the
Mm-hmm.
court. How's your interaction with other players and the coaches and the coaching staff? So that's just some of the things they're going to be looking at and all, Kev. I know you probably got something else to add to that.
Well, I mean, when it comes around, coaches want to know if there's red flags that can get a guy crossed off their list. Because what athletes, players, coaches, what players and parents don't understand is a lot of times college coaches are looking for a reason not to recruit you.
Yeah.
And I'm watching a game a couple of days ago at a big time event. There's a kid that's like probably a top 5, top 6 player uh, in his class, and he gets a technical foul, and then he throws the ball. He was kicked out the game. And man, there were like 4 or 5 coaches sitting there. I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't waste
Right.
my time here. And they went on to the next gym,
One of those
you know,
bad
so
habits.
yeah, and so that's the biggest thing, and coaches want to know about the parents, and that really affects recruiting because if you're a hard parent to deal with and
Yeah.
it comes down to Johnny and Jimmy, and Johnny's got a difficult parent, they're gonna go with Jimmy.
Gonna go with
And that's
Jimmy.
just yeah, that's just how it is, man. And but you've been around um the games with me and coaches they ask for us to vouch on a player, right?
Right.
And what are we basing that vouch on? We're basing it on what we see on a regular basis. Phil, I want you to kind of talk about how we feel players need to handle bad games.
Look, Kev, I know when I see something, my thing is just how quickly can you process getting over that bad game? See, some players let something just linger with it. And think about it. You can have a bad shooting game, right? And
Mm-hmm.
now the next game going in, because people didn't see you score the way you know you can score. What do? You get out of you get out of your element and you go out there. Now you're gonna try to bust somebody, but you just you're putting up shots, getting out of the game, throwing everybody else out of their cycle because you're trying to show that you can score and get with it. And now you've just really made more of a mess uh,
Mm-hmm.
in that whole process. So, how are you going to process that bad game? The ability to to dismiss it, so to speak, from your mind. It's like
Mm-hmm.
anything. It's like anything else, Kev. I, I don't give me that. I'm going to look for consistency in
Mm-hmm.
what you do, right? Um,
Yeah.
you don't have to try and do something overly impressive this game or that game. If you can give it to me on a consistent um, level, then then that's what I'm looking for. But really, the main thing is just processing and how quickly you can dismiss that bad game.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate something that my friend Manny put up about Mookie. He's a guardian of a potential college recruit, and Mookie's pretty good, but he really stresses with him that you can't mess up anywhere, and or don't if you do, don't be surprised when you get passed over. And I
Right,
know that they have some really uh, strong conversations about preparation for um, the next level. There's a lot of experience running through that family, the guardians as well, uh, professionalism, and my man does a really good job. But I just want to say we're going to wrap it up, put a bow on it real quick. Um, Went a little longer than we expected, but I think it was all great, pertinent information in preparation for the last live period that some guys are on. And next week, you'll catch us back at the Root Pub, and we really appreciate those guys. Uh, Brunch Spot, always been good to us over in
get the
Converse.
grits, get the
Get
grits.
get the grits. Hey, but Phil, I want to talk real quick about our 2 podcasts, man. We got one called Truth in the Trenches, and that's where we're bringing the truth because we're so close to it. We're talking about military a little bit, but we're in the trenches with it, and so we're bringing back truth from the different interactions we have with different with different individuals. The first one is Coach Springer, Mr. Tim Springer, a trainer on the other side of town. Man, he gives some great feedback on preparedness. And then Coach Ajami from Parish Episcopal talks about culture and what his guys have passed on. And then we also have another one called the OneEyed Watch List. You can find these wherever you get your podcast from. But the OneEyed Watch List right now currently stands at 20 episodes. And each one of the individuals on there, I will stamp that they will play Division II and no less than that. Most will be Division I players, some high-ranking Division I players, but it's just interesting to get their background, their backstories. And man, I'm a fan of basketball, so I just get to share in all of that with them. And so that I really want people to check those two things out. And one more time to TAAN TV,
Yeah.
I give it up to the platform to tell the real stories, not just the box scores. And
Yeah.
we'll be back next week, same time, same grit.
Kev, can I just shout out your guy Manny Guerra?
Yeah.
He just said it. Hard work beats lazy talent all day. And
Yep.
that's and Kev, let the people know. Don't forget August 2nd.
Nah, it's on all the social medias, so you almost have to not look for it to not see it. So, but follow us on the OneEyed Scout on all the social medias. Send us your clips, your game film, your work, and until then, keep showing them what they can't see unless they're watching.
Said I was just wish like I would have you guys sooner. You know what I mean? Like especially like through my development stage, freshman all the way to senior year. I just wish I would have been on that side of town maybe and then got to connect with you guys. I definitely felt like it would have helped me a lot.